yes, welcome back to another video, guys, and that's right, today we're back to talk about John Wick Chapter 4. I was debating whether to bother reviewing this film because I saw it like 4 days late, but do you know what? I had such a blast with this movie last night in the cinema. I had to come and talk about it because, oh my god, this film was insane. So John Wick Chapter 4 sees John Wick uncovers a path to defeating the High Table. Before he can earn his freedom, Wick must face off against a new enemy with powerful allies. The plot is pretty simple, but this film is so clever in what it does, and it reminds me of what video games do. You'll have to get from point A to point B, to point C, to point D, to point, that's how video games work. There's stages to games. But in between those stages, whereas a movie will just very quickly get the character from one place to the other, this movie takes its time to put you in between those points and have John Wick face off against a bunch of enemies. And instead of just having very generic action, which we get a lot nowadays with blockbusters, you get some of the best action sequences you're ever going to see here. The choreography is brilliant. The cinematography with those shots, the camera tracking shots and whatnot, fantastic. It's such good work. It is one of the most engaging action films I've seen. There is a scene that involves nunchucks, and it goes on for 5+ minutes. John Wick just beating the living hell out of people with just nunchucks. And at the end, I was not bored. I was like, I kind of wanted that to go on even longer, which sounds insane. And that's why this film works so well. It does that consistently throughout the whole film. It gives you these fantastic action sets, action pieces, and it is just so much fun. And that is the best way to describe this film. It is so much fun. And I'll be shocked if a film this year can top it in terms of its enjoyability, because the whole journey is just so crazy to watch. And while it doesn't do anything new with its story and what it's trying to get across, it feels also original at the same time, purely just down to the fact of how well made this film is. And this, of course, picks up after the first three. I'm a big fan of the first three. I really like them all. But this film manages to bring in the old characters and incorporate a lot of new characters at the same time. Keanu Reeves, of course, is back starring as John Wick. I don't really see how they could ever recast this character now. And I'll say this, he is brilliant in the role. A lot of the action scenes he's doing is fantastic. I know he's probably got a stunt double for a lot of it, but, there's a lot of physicality to this role, and he pulls it off magnificently. A couple of the one-liners he has aren't delivered brilliantly. Like the bits like someone would just say, "Come on, we gotta go." And he would just look at the camera and go, "Okay." My dad said it quite good, actually. He said it kind of reminds him a bit of Clint Eastwood, how he didn't speak much and he used to have these very hard-hitting replies. And it used to fit a lot of Clint Eastwood's characters. And I kind of get that vibe from Keanu Reeves here in this role. They aren't brilliant line deliveries, but it kind of fits that character. It works weirdly well. Then you've got Lawrence Fishburne returning in this as King, and he is really good. It seems like they're finally starting to use him a bit more, which is good because he never really gets used loads in these films. And then, of course, Ian McShane is back as Winston, who is fantastic. He's one of my favourite characters in this. And Lance Reddick is in this as Charon, I think is how you say his character's name. And, rest in peace to the actor. Very sad news, of course, the other week that he unfortunately passed away right before this film came out. But he was great in this film. He's great in all of the films, and he'll be very much missed for the sequels that come after this. But then, this film has a very interesting set of new characters. And I think maybe the best since the first film, in terms of the one-off characters. So we've got Bill Skarsgård in this as the main villain, and probably the best villain we've had of all 4 films. He's the most memorable, he's got the most character to him, he's the most unique, he's the most different. Donnie Yen is in this as Kane. And I'd only seen this guy, I think, in Rogue One before. And I liked him in Rogue One, but because Rogue One was a film about a whole bunch of characters, you didn't really get loads of time with each one. Here, you get a lot more time with him. And as an actor, he's showing how fantastic he is. The sword fighting he does in this film is just mind-blowing. In fact, I'd say his character, Kane, is probably my favourite character in the film, alongside John Wick. He is so good in this film. And then, of course, I'm not sure how you pronounce this guy's name. Shamir Anderson, who plays Tracker, who is also great. He's a lot of fun. I really like the way they wove his character into the plot of the movie. But now, I want to sort of sum up here by saying, yeah, I like the plot a lot, even though it is very simple, but they worked with it so well. The action sequences are obviously brilliant. The characters are a lot of fun. The runtime was what was putting me off this film. Nearly 3 hours. And I think I left a few comments on posts saying, can a John Wick film be this long? Can it pull it off? And the answer is yes. There wasn't an inch of fat on this film. It was perfect runtime. The pacing was spot on. It was so good from start to finish. It didn't feel as long as it was because it was so much fun and so engaging. And the ending I loved as well. And there is also a little end credit scene for those of you who haven't seen it yet, so make sure you stick about for that. But I really love this film. I'm actually tempted to say it's my favourite of all four, even though I love the first one. At the minute, it's between the first one and the fourth one for me. Then I go 3, then 2 would be my ranking at the minute. But I'm going to give this film an 8.5 out of 10. I think it's so much fun. It's going to be one of the best films this year, without a doubt, for me. Yeah, go see it, guys. It is fantastic. But anyway, that is it for this video, guys. I hope you've enjoyed as always. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like the video, leave a message. And as always, I'll see you next time for another video. Bye-bye.